Hi everyone, welcome to RPA Explorers channel.
In today's video, we are going to continue with the data table series. So in the last video, I have shown an introduction and like the basic methods, like how you can make use of your data table to read it or write it to an Excel. So make sure that you watch my part 1 so that you can understand this video as well. So in today's video, I'm going to start with the connector methods, like how you can add your columns into an Excel. So this is going to be an use case series along with the data table methods. So the first use case is how you can add your column or add multiple columns into your Excel or into your data table. So in the Excel connector method, we actually do not have this method, which is like add column or add columns. All we have is just set cell value. Like you have to manually provide your cell name wherein you want to add it, but in data table you have more methods. So first let's see this add column. As I mentioned in my last video, whatever method you want to use for data table, the first is to load the data from an Excel. So I have used this load and provided my file path and the sheet name. Pick the add column. Here you have to provide your column name. This is the Excel. Okay, this is the one which we used in the last video. I'll delete it. So this is the existing column and I'm going to add a new column on F. So you can define on which position you really wanted to add your column. So let's add it in the last column, which is after all the existing one. And now let me add like number. Okay, and the next parameter is the column index. So you can provide your index, like this is your 0th index, 1, 2 and so on. By providing this -1, it basically it uses the latest one after the existing ones. Okay, let me run this. Okay, this is completed, and if you go to the Excel, you will not be actually seeing the data, as we are not doing anything on the Excel. All we are doing it on the data table, which is a temporary storage. Now to view it, I am going to take this set table, the get table. Okay, let me make a copy. So now let's run it. Okay, and also I'll be closing all the instances, so I'll open it again and show you the output. Okay, this is completed. Let's preview it, and now we should be having this number at the final column name. Okay, and now let me open the Excel. So we'll not be having this, as it is not writing directly into. If you want to write the value into the Excel, that you can use this write to Excel, which I have explained in my last video as well. Okay, now we have added column which is as the last column. If you want to write it on a particular, let's do it like I want to add a new column on my second index. Okay, let's run this. This is done. Let me preview it. So now this is the first index, second, this is the 0, 1, and in the number 2 it has added the column number. So this is how you can add your column. Okay, this is just for adding a single column. What if that you want to add a number of columns or more than one? In that case, make use of add columns. So it basically accepts a list of column name. So there are different ways to provide your list. Let me show you the basic way for this example. Like you have to transform your data as a list. So let's say that C1, and then all you have to provide it in the list form. That's it. Okay, let me close it, and we'll just get the data. Okay, as it doesn't have any parameters for your column index, it will be adding at the end. Okay, so I can see that C1, C2 and C3, and also here we do not have the column name, which is number, which we added in the previous one. So this is completely new data table every time you run it, until and unless you set the data table. Okay, so now that we have C1, C2 and C3, right? Let's click on OK. Now let's use another method to set the data table, and let's try to add it. I'll show the difference between them. So let me take set table. So after I get the table, I want to set it. So this will be my final table, right? So even after this, I want to add this at the second index, which is on number. So after I do this, again I want to get it, so to show the output, and this time we should have column C1, C2 and C3 at the end, and in the column index we should also have the number. Let me run this. Okay, this is completed. Let's preview it. Okay, so basically here the data table is just C1, C2 and C3. As we are setting the data table, now this is our current data table. So basically it have all columns along with C1, C2, C3. And on the result data, I'm just adding the column index as 2, which is number. So we have this. Okay. So until and unless you set it, your data table is completely new every time you run it. Now let me show you this one where you can add your names from a set of list or from process parameter or from an additional Excel file. In case you have any list of column with, like, you can use your list method and make sure that you just pass it to this IEnumerable of names. So that is another way of achieving it, but this is a basic way to add your columns into an Excel. And now what we have done is completely on this data table. If you want to write the resultant data table into your Excel, maybe on a new Excel or an existing Excel new sheet or an existing sheet, you have to do is just use this write to Excel. We'll be writing into the resultant sheet and the Excel, and then you can make use of that Excel to write your data, send over an email or any other operations you want to do. Okay, and in this video I have covered 3 different methods: add column, columns and set table. I hope you all got an understanding about this, and also make sure that you like my video in case you guys find it useful, so that it could recommend to more people. Thank you for watching.